Oliver.
Oliver, yeah, there you go.
Some people say the Oliver, but...
So I'm here with Oliver today, and Oliver just spoke to my key group this morning. He's normally speaking to Vistage groups in the US, so it's an honor and a pleasure to have you up here in Vancouver today.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what generative AI is.
Yeah, generative AI is the next evolution of what I now call traditional AI.
Okay.
AI that has learned to produce outputs to generate something that is highly useful, whether that is language output, answers to questions, execution of commands, research, or it could be visual output, graphics, pictures, videos, hyper-realistic images of real people, or not real people, of created people, music, different categories. So the common denominator is the ability to create something. It is also a fairly affordable technology. Most of these solutions have been packaged in apps. You can get subscriptions or you can find them as premium, freemium type of solutions, free solutions on the web. And there is a cottage industry of generative AI tools that can do almost anything you could imagine. You have a problem, a business problem or a lifestyle problem, there's probably a generative AI solution for that.
Wow, scary times we live in. And so just to make it really crystal clear, for those of us that are still struggling with the difference between AI and generative AI, can you just give us a really simple, I don't know, maybe an example around the difference between the two?
Yeah, so I now make the distinction traditional AI, right? The AI that relies on large data sets, where you have to create the data set and then it compares new data to that training data set, and that allows it to reliably perform its pattern recognition and analysis. That traditional AI often required that you have access to a large data set, so it wasn't ideal for small and mid-sized businesses. Okay. That you have someone who can work with that data, data scientist and so forth. And so the bar to play in that space was relatively high. Companies have developed some pre-trained models, they have embedded that. And then over time, as for example, AI learned to recognize images, it was only one step further to say, could you actually create an image?
Okay.
And once AI had learned to create that image, in essence, you had a generative AI tool. And then the final step was that the ability of AI to understand, conceptualize language became so good that one of the frequent interfaces for generative AI is just the spoken word. You say what you want and it will find information for you. It will draw, create an image, it will create a website, it will edit a video, all based on a simple command that you either speak or type.
Wow, I mean, this is pretty scary in terms of the potential transformation and how it's going to impact businesses. And I know today we were talking about some of those opportunities, and there was a few people who were a little bug-eyed in the room going, wow, this could have pretty significant implications to their businesses. Can you share a little bit about maybe some of the things that you think could be ways in which we can incorporate generative AI into our businesses today?
Certainly. I think the difference is there are people still sitting on the sidelines who don't even know what it is, and others are already implementing it. And the gap may in fact be widening. While it's easy to get into the game and use ChatGPT once, being good at it or using it for commercial benefit is not that simple, right? So you have to outpace your competition. The sample uses range all the way from setting strategy, identifying new product opportunities, new market opportunities, exploring adjacencies in your business, whether you do that with a simple tool like ChatGPT or more advanced tools that are out there, product development, generative design, There's a large variety of design apps, creation of images instead of utilizing stock images, marketing agencies. Almost every aspect of a marketing agency can be now supported. And I think of it as the era of super skills. You have all these tools that help make employees more productive, and what we gain as a result of our investment is time, and that is an extremely valuable commodity. There are back office functions. Microsoft Copilot is enabling many back office functions, and because there are so many things you can theoretically do with it, the key question that a company has to address is which of those do we want to pursue and why those? Instead of just starting to accumulate a whole bunch of things that you now have to manage in your technology stack, be deliberate about it, and also consider the risks and consider the cultural impact of going down this path.
What's a process that businesses, decision makers can follow to, I guess, work their way through this minefield of thousands of options of generative AI out there? How do they assess which ones to use and which ones not to use?
I think the reality today is they come across something, they go to a conference, they are hit by a vendor, they hear from a peer, and sort of, they start to develop their stack. The process I use is called a digital opportunity assessment. I speak to a company, try to understand their business, create the value chain of their business from deciding which markets to be in, how to develop products, et cetera, and then I research which technologies, not just AI or generative AI, it could be other advanced technologies, augmented reality, robotics, align with the particular challenges of that business, and I create a portfolio of opportunities. It's not a recommendation, it's just awareness building of the range of things that are out there. And then the next step is to facilitate a dialogue within the company about the strategic rationale. Why do we want to utilize any of these technologies? And that becomes the lens, ideally, through which you choose which ones to pursue.
Wow. Well, it's a massive topic, something we're not going to be able to get through just in a few minutes here. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Oliver?
LinkedIn.com/Oliver, Buechse.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure I feel like I had sort of driven a thin end of a wedge into the door and cracked it open a little bit in my own experiences with ChatGPT over the last few versions over the last year or so. And now what Oliver has done for us today is he's kind of cracked the door open a little bit further. Now I'm looking into this room, this whole world of generative AI, and realizing that there is so much more that we need to learn out there about this topic and how we can incorporate into those different tools and those resources and the different types of generative AI into our businesses. So exciting times ahead. Thanks a lot.